Hey there, Melissa Dunn here with the Melissa Dunn Realty team and Keller Williams. And in this video, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know about protesting your taxes in the DFW area. This video is going to touch primarily on Dallas and Collin counties, but this information works for all of our surrounding counties. Okay, guys, so welcome to the presentation. Again, like I said earlier, I'm going to take you through step by step, explain the things that you should know about protesting your taxes in the DFW area. So join me throughout this video. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and some important links and connections. And in the pinned comment, we'll put all of these links, and there will also be a link for you to go ahead and drop us your address. And we will send over comps for you to use totally free to protest your taxes this year. So let's jump into the presentation. Again, this is how to protest your taxes here in Texas, and this is a process and a strategy that actually works. A little bit about me. This is my sweet little family. We have lived in the DFW area for a very, very long time, a little over 20 years. We're lifelong Texans, and we've been in North Texas for over 20 years. I'm a big community servant. I love taking care of my community and those who serve it. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. So before being a full-time realtor, I owned a marketing company where we did real estate marketing for brokers and apartment community. So super, super fun. We did photos, videos, all that fun stuff. I have been a full-time agent now for 11 years, and I absolutely love serving my clients and helping people who even aren't my clients. Like some of you guys may not actually be my clients, and this might be the first time that we're meeting, but a lot of my new friends I meet online through some of my YouTube videos and educational content like that. So super happy to have you here, and hope that you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join our little family so you can get lots of great information about living in and enjoying Texas. Okay, so why would you even want to protest your taxes? What is this about? And I get text messages all the time, especially this year. Hey, my taxes have actually gone down. What should I do? Should I protest them? And actually, mine's gone down and I'm still going to protest, because just because it went down doesn't mean it's necessarily accurate. And so every year I suggest that my clients do steps 1 through 3 that I'm going to show you, just to see what happens. And I also like for you to use your tax notice whenever you get it in the mail. Use that kind of as a reminder to also shop your insurance and some of your other household expenses. So insurance is another really big one that if you're escrowing, it can affect your payment significantly. And I know I've personally had my payment go up. I think it went up like over $400 one year, and it wasn't actually my taxes, it was my homeowner's insurance, and we hadn't had any claims or anything. And so we went in, shopped our insurance, got it back down to the original price with a different carrier. And so that's super important for you guys to keep in mind too. So it's not just your taxes that will raise your house payment each year. It could also be your homeowner's insurance. So check that coverage and make sure that you're adequately covered, first of all, and that your rates didn't go up for no real reason. So some of the things we're going to talk about, what you should do whenever you want to protest your taxes, kind of discuss what the difference between value, between market value and your appraised value. And then we're going to go through all of the steps you need to do to actually protest those taxes. So what does it actually impact? It's going to impact your mortgage payment, your long-term home ownership, because if you don't get some of those homestead exemptions and over 65 exemptions and any of the, some of those, they have a really significant cap. And if you wait too long to put that on, you're going to be paying thousands of dollars in taxes unnecessarily. And I tell people, for the last 11 years, I've told people, file your homestead exemption, do this. And, it's kind of like the handyman who fixes everyone else's house and doesn't fix theirs. My last house, I didn't do it until right before we sold. And this is important for you to know too. Let's say that you are missing some exemptions on your house, which we'll touch on. You can actually go back to previous years. So you can file for your homestead exemption for that current or future year and for the 2 previous years, and you'll get a refund check. So that's really important to know too, because sometimes we don't take care of these things and life gets in the way and you just forget. And so that's really important for you to do to save some money there too. So like I said, steps 1 through 3, I really suggest everybody do every single year. Once you get that tax notice, hit me up. I'll get you your comps and you can go ahead and send that in. So the first step is going to be get comps. And so when we get comps, we're pulling comps differently than if I were to list your house. If I wanted to list your house, I'm going to pull the last like 60 to 90 days worth of sales. And we're going to look at those properties. Whenever we're filing a homestead exemption, we're going to pull the last year's worth of comps. So a whole 12 months worth of comps. And I'll kind of go through how you select who to choose. Number 2, you're going to assemble your evidence. And so we're going to deliver comps to you. You're also going to pull some other evidence from around your house, take some pictures that you're going to use to justify a lower value for your home. Then you're going to submit the number that you believe your house is worth to the appraisal district. And that's going to be what you're protesting your taxes to be. That might be where it ends for you. You might get an email that's got happy news and says, hey, listen, this is great. We're going to go ahead and reduce your taxes to this amount. Thanks so much. You might get a different number. They might come down a little bit, but maybe not as far as you wanted. Or they may just flat out say, no, we're not going to reduce your taxes or reduce your your appraised value. So then what you would do is possibly do steps 4 and 5. So number 4 is going to be you're going to meet with an appraiser. So have someone physically come out to the house. You're going to meet them, go over your findings, what you believe to be accurate. And number 5, you're going to schedule a hearing if needed. If you can solve this at number 4 or with an informal meeting, that's going to be my suggestion. But if you have to take it to number 5, sometimes that can be really frustrating because you're not necessarily meeting with all appraisers or people who are super knowledgeable about home values or even about your particular home, right? Because they've never stepped foot in your home for the most part. And so that can be a really frustrating place. But, you know, if most of the time you can resolve it by step 4. So, go back. So step 1, so you're going to find comparable homes. So in Texas, we're a non-disclosure state, which means that once you buy a home, we do not disclose to the public what you purchased your home for. So if you're going on to Zillow and you're trying to use Zillow or one of those other websites to gather comps, they're not going to share the sales price with you either. They're just going to share the last known list price for that property. The Zestimates, of course, we all know those are incredibly inaccurate in most cases. So what you'll want to do is get with a realtor that you know and trust. I am happy to pull comps for you every year that you want. We always send out a little link. People put in their address and we email over comps to them. Things that we're going to look at are same neighborhood, similar size, similar age. You're going to want to review all of the photos. So I'm going to send you an entire year's worth of sold properties, typically within your same subdivision, and it's going to have every single photo for each property. What I want you to do is go through and find the 3 lowest priced comps in that neighborhood, and 3 to 5, you can pick 3 to 5, and then review all of the photos. And I want you to justify things that are different between your home and that home. So let's say that home, maybe your house needs some foundation repair work, but you don't have the funds to take care of it. We're going to want to make sure that we notate that and that you get a quote from a foundation company on what it would cost to make that repair. Let's say that your house backs up to a busy road and the 3 or to 5 comps that you've selected are all in interior streets, so they don't back up to busy roads. You'll want to make sure that you mention that, right? Because that pushes value down. So those are things that we're going to want to compare. And you'll build out a list on each property on the things that you are deficient compared to them, okay? If you'd like for me to go ahead and pull comps for you, you can scan this QR code here on your screen, and I'll go ahead and pull all of the comps and email that over to you. So step 2, so you've got all of your comps, you've selected 4 to 5 different properties, you've got the average sold price of those comps. You're going to highlight again out of all those comps I send you the lower priced properties, and then you're going to gather that information about repairs that you need, outdated features that you might have. Maybe all of these homes have updated kitchens and you still are rocking your 1980s kitchen, right? We want to make sure that we're detailing that and sending in pictures. We want to make sure that we are detailing damage or wear, and then some of those other things, right? That's going to be structural deficiencies. So that can be we need a new roof, we're having foundation issues, things like that. You can even, if you, maybe all of the others have 3-car garages and you have a 2-car garage, a garage bay is about $5,000. So you can include that, right? I am missing this garage bay, so I feel that reduces my value by $5,000. Functional obsolescence is going to be, like I mentioned, with the backing up to a busy street, or your yard is completely sloped, so it's really not functional. So that type of thing also. So you'll want to make sure that you notate that. So next you're going to determine your number and you're going to submit that in your protest. So protesting is super easy. You can take the PIN number and the ID number off of your tax form. If you've lost your notice of your value, you can go ahead and go on the website and they'll have a way for you to find it again. So you'll be able to pull up another document that's the same thing. It'll have your ID and your PIN number. So you're going to use that, put it into the form, answer all of the questions. One of the things the form is going to ask you is if you would be open to an informal review. Make sure that you click yes, because if you click no, if you protest your taxes, they're basically going to automatically say you need to come in before the board. So make sure that you click that you would be open to an informal review. You're going to submit that notice online to protest. It's super duper easy. You're going to include your opinion of your value, all of the supporting evidence, and you want to make sure you do that before the deadline, because if you try to do it the next day, they do not care. They won't accept it. I've accidentally forgotten and tried to go back in, and that's too bad, so sad they didn't do it. So in Collin County and Dallas County, the deadline is May 15th. So again, go to the appraisal district's website, so Dallas County Appraisal District or Collin County Appraisal District, and put in all of this information and apply online. You don't want to just match your best comps, right? You want to give a little, you want to set your number a little bit below whatever you show on your comps, so that way you have room to go up if you need to. You want to make sure that everything that you're sending them is backed up with evidence. So if we're going a little below the average, we want to make sure that that's because these homes, they spent money to get made ready for market, right? To get ready to get on the market. So they updated their kitchen, and we did not update our kitchen. And so we want credit for that. So make sure that you're doing that. And again, you want to try to resolve all of this before the review panel, right? That's step 5. You want to make sure you're doing that before that review panel, so that way you can go ahead and get it taken care of. It's a lot easier to be heard in those informal reviews. And having an appraiser come out to your property, walk inside of your home, sit down with you, look at you eye to eye, talk about the defect or the deficiencies in your home, really, really is super helpful. So if for some reason it isn't resolved at step 3, you're going to want to meet with an appraiser. So it's, like I said, it's a really good opportunity for you to resolve your case. You're going to sit with that appraiser, offer them a glass of tea or coffee, chat through, here are the things that I feel make my property less desirable or worth less than these other properties, and you're going to plead your case to them. You want to make sure that you're nice, right? We get more with honey than we do vinegar. Be sweet to those people. There are tons of people, and they're always the bad guy, right? They're always going to be treated as the bad guy. So be nice to those people, be calm, show them the data and the information, and they will appreciate that, and most of the time they will work with you. Most of the time, this is where you can settle. Having someone in the house, and sometimes I think it's just that not being behind a keyboard, people are more willing to work with you. Step 5 is the hearing. So if it doesn't work out with your informal review or with meeting with the appraiser, you're going to schedule a hearing to meet before the board. You're going to plead your case in front of everybody, show them that same data, show them the quotes. Sometimes you can actually bring in an appraiser and have them give an opinion of value. And there's some other great companies that I'm going to share with you in the comments section of this video, and I'll share their names at the end so you can look them up as well. That can also help you through this stage. And so again, do you need to go this far? Usually, yeah. I mean, if you've already put this much into it, yeah. It's not likely that you'll get a reduction once you get to this stage. They pretty much will always stick with whatever value they've given you. So again, make sure when you're submitting that doc that you're putting that you are open to an informal review, so that way you can try to take care of this beforehand. So there are other ways that are super easy to do without having to file a protest, right? So one, you want to make sure that you have your homestead exemption in place. On your tax bill, it'll say exemptions and it'll have HS, and that's homestead. So if this property is your homestead, it's the property you live in, it's a super, super helpful option. They just raised the amount they reduce your appraised value to $140,000, which is amazing. So you want to make sure that you're taking that savings, and it also puts a cap on the max that they are allowed to raise your appraised value each year to 10%. Now I have seen that 10% get maxed out as soon as possible. And so that's frustrating. It's within that 10%, right? So just make sure that you're getting this as soon as you can. Once you close on your house, as soon as your driver's license reflects your new address, you can go ahead and submit for this. You used to have to wait for a future year to go ahead and do it, but you can do it as soon as your driver's license reflects the new address. So for my clients at the closing table, I'm telling them, go change your address so you can file for your homestead exemption. You also want to keep in mind, are you over 65? Did you recently become over 65? Are you missing your over 65 exemption? Because we want to make sure that's on there too, because that will cap your property value so that they can't go up. So that's a huge one. Make sure that you've got that over 65 exemption as well. Are you a disabled vet? Would the Social Security Department to consider you having a disability? That's another deduction that you can take. So just make sure that you are not missing any of those deductions, because those exemptions will save you so much money without even doing anything. And again, check that on when you get that tax bill. Don't just throw it away or put it in a drawer. Make sure that you're checking to make sure that those transferred over, because they've recently changed rules where the homestead exemption is not a one and done thing. Every couple of years you're going to have to refile. And so you want to make sure that you're not missing it on future years. So make sure to check that every single year when you get that bill. Some mistakes that I see people do all the time, they wait too long. Once you're past that deadline, they don't care. Like I said, get it in there by midnight on the deadline. Using bad comps. So if you're using comps that are outside of the area, right? If you're trying to compare your home that was built in 2000 to a home that was built in 1980s, totally different, right? We're comparing apples to oranges at that point. So make sure you're using good comps. Don't get emotional. Don't get upset. It's math. Sometimes they're going to come back and they're going to say, we're not going to adjust your value because we do feel you are actually worth this much now. And that's not necessarily bad news, right? We buy real estate because we want it to grow in value. We just don't always want the tax man to know about that, right? So it's not always bad news, right? If your home truly has gone up in value, you're going to have higher taxes, and hopefully your agent has prepared you for that as you've been going through the home buying process. Not bringing evidence. If you're just saying, I think this is what my house is worth, maybe you pulled some comps off Zillow. They want real evidence. They want quotes from other companies to do work. They want these things. They want to see that you have put in the work to prove that you truly feel this is how much it's worth. You didn't just fill out a form on the internet. Next thing would be accepting the first number blindly. If you just look at that, and like I said, mine went down, and I thought, well, you know what? It did go down, but I don't think it's right. I'm seeing other houses sell for lower prices around me, and I want to protest this. And so that's another really good opportunity for you to jump in and try to save some money, right? So again, just keep it simple. You have the right to protest. I would do it every year. The data is definitely what wins. So no emotions, just go in there with pure data and kind of plead your case. Preparation equals savings. So getting all of those documents together, sending it out. Most of those bids for repair work that needs to be done, you can get that via email. Most of these companies, you can send them, hey, here's my roof. Let me know how much for a new roof, and they can use Google Maps to give you roof prices and estimates. So making sure that you've got all of that information and prepare, that's really what's going to help you win. And again, so if you need any help, the QR code here will take you to my calendar. I am more than happy to help you guys, get your get your property tax information, get your comps, all that fun stuff. If you need any referrals for local trades around DFW, I've got tons of really great resources, vendors who will respond super fast and get you what you need. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And that's it. So thank you so much. I'm going to pop up the QR code here if you guys want to scan it and go ahead and send me your property information. I will go ahead and send over your comps. It's going to be a big fat file because you're going to need to go through them and pull out. I haven't been in your house for most of you, so it's going to be a big fat pot file, and you're going to need to go through and pull out those 3 to 5 properties. But scan the QR code here. It might ask you if you want to be in our webinar. This slideshow is from a webinar we did previously, and so just you can fill out your information there. We're not doing a webinar again. This is what I'm sending out to people who missed it, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have one-on-one. Just feel free to give me a call at any of those numbers or scan the QR code that you saw earlier. But yeah, so super excited to get to chat with you guys. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I am here for you. Bye guys.